CSX detector. Milepost 130.4, no defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axle 364. CSX detector. Milepost 130.4, no defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axle 364. Detector out.
Hello, rail friends. Thanks for being with us on part 3 of today's journey. We appreciate you being with us, Casey and I. Sorry, on part 2, we abruptly came to an end. It seemed like after the lightning and the storm went that we had, the rain ended, the sun was directly overhead, and it just radiated through not the tent, but the umbrella that we had up, and we got a hawk signal on the recording device, and before we could do anything to correct that, it was too late. That was the end of the stream. So my apologies to everyone that we lost you there on part 2 at the end. We currently are at the 130.3 milepost here on the Chattanooga Sub Line, and Nickajack Lake is that beautiful body of water you see right behind me there. Apparently the mosquitoes have followed me from Whiteside all the way down here. We do have yellow with flashing green now on the southbound side, or actually at this point it's really the westbound. And back at Whiteside Tunnel, same set of tracks in between Chattanooga and Bridgeport, although at this point it is signal track. We are right next to a defect detector, as you heard, and that was an eastbound headed towards Chattanooga. And I say it is kind of cool. We'll go ahead and move up in just a moment closer to that signal board, and then we'll catch one more before we conclude. But as I was saying, for those of you rail fanning and you want to make that trek after TVRM, start this way, Waxahachie. You can do the tunnel and then on over through New Hope to Bridgeport. Check out everything there. And then go on down to Stevenson, where you get to see the old hotel and depot combination. And it's right between the railroad tracks. So when the sign says the train would go through there at night and pull your bed sheets right off, that's how close the tracks are on both sides. And CSX splits, goes up to see all my friends in Cowan, and the other side splits and goes on down to Huntsville and then Decatur. And if you continue on down, the depot's still there in Scottsboro, nice depot. And over in Huntsville, when you get to Huntsville, that's an incredible tour to take through the old Huntsville Railroad Depot right downtown. And those trains come as close to that station as they do in Stevenson. You're one step behind the safety line, they're one step on this side of the line. So take that tour, and like I said, the Huntsville Depot is just so historic and so well preserved. And when they were doing some work on it, they were taking wallpaper off, and there were notes because it was also a holding area or a prison or a detention center for a lot of the soldiers during the Civil War. And they would write notes on the walls in pencil to kill the time of the day because there really wasn't much to do there. And when they were taking that wallpaper off, they came across a lot of it. So I'm not going to spoil all the things there are to know about the Huntsville Railroad Depot, but seriously, make plans, come do our trip. We're going to, like I said, go ahead and move back inside because we've gotten up to low 90s. We don't want to overheat. We are going to close with one more train that'll be heading southbound, or actually at this point westbound, and that eastbound will, once they get to New Hope, they kind of make that turn and go south, so I keep wanting to call it south. So but Nickajack Lake, where we are, is probably 20 miles, 25 miles due west of Chattanooga, and about 5 miles back is the big bridge that goes across on 24. So like I said, so we don't get in trouble with our overheating, except we're going to go ahead and move back inside the truck at this point and pull up.
CSX, transfer Trackside.
Let's see what they've got to say.
E489, go ahead. Now 101, show those bulletins activated for the B 48920. At 1543 JMG. Copy that. Give me a few minutes, I'll get you lined up.
All right, we are moving back into the truck. They have some chatter there, but our signal at this point has gone dark, where we had the green. We are bringing our day to a conclusion. However, if there is the opportunity of one more, we are going to sit tight for a moment. Hey, Matthew. I imagine you're familiar with where we are. That's the TVA facility over there on the lake, Nickajack Lake. Everybody's out boating and fishing today. And straight up the line, and like I said, you guys are hanging out with us here in the cab. Straight up the line is New Hope. And as you heard on the signal indication when that eastbound went through, he's at the 130 and with no defects. And we heard 489 communicating there. Not sure what their plans are, so we are going to stay online for a moment. Listen to the scanner. I am way past due for being at my function with my wife. So I might be hanging out with you guys longer than I planned, and not by choice. Uh-oh, we've lost the magnet. There it is. On the antenna base. We'll put it back on, as you can see there. Matthew, like I said, we had a green flashing, and now we've got dark nothing. So we are going to sit tight for a moment, give you all a view of Nickajack Lake outside the window. Tony, I hope everything's good up in Cowan. Ran into a couple of your friends over at Whiteside Tunnel. I'm sure they'll tell you when you see them. And if we don't get any updates here in a next moment or two, we will go ahead and conclude part 3 for the day. But seriously, for all of those that you that watch this coming up in the future and you make plans, we just got a whole line of incredibly great depots and rail fan spots for you to visit. And you can make a 1 day, a 3 day, a 4 day, however long you want out of it. Because after you get done in Huntsville, you're going to want to go ahead and run on over to Decatur. And that's a second bridge location that you can see. Once they leave Huntsville, they go over to Madison and then Decatur on their way to Muscle Shoals in that area. And it's a really, really cool bridge location where they come across, and there's an overhead walkway, and the train goes underneath you as they are coming from the bridge or about to go under the bridge span. And the Decatur terminal is really, really nice, and it's also operated by the city, and the police department's there. They've got a beautiful porch on the back of it where you can literally reach out and shake hands with the train staff when they go by. So, since we have no more signal indication on the block, here comes somebody on a pontoon boat. We'll wait till they go by. And then we're going to call it a day, as I need to travel back to Chattanooga and over to the celebration event for the karate group that my wife is part of. Here comes those folks, slowly meandering across Nickajack Lake here. Anybody that's just signing on, we're just concluding part 3 along Nickajack Lake on a Saturday trip across town and outside west of Chattanooga, where we visited the end of DeBucks. Part 2, we went to the Whiteside Tunnel. That was back from 1858, and a number of different railroads operated over it. There goes our pontoon boat, which was off of Tennessee 134, and then we carried on over along Nickajack Lake, where we are now, running along the Chattanooga Sub Line, which is shared by both NS and CSX train action. And to my understanding, it is maintained by CSX. So, with that, we are going to take a quick look on the other side of the signal. So if you want to ride along, we'll take a quick ride. If we have nothing else happening, I'm going to go ahead and make my way back to Chattanooga as we talked earlier, but I didn't want to conclude without letting you all know what happened to part 2. Again, my apologies that got us there. And there's the signal board going west at the 130.2. Nickajack Lake runs along over there. We're going to turn around down here. Here's somebody, their truck sitting there. They're fishing over there on the other side on the lake where they crossed over. And we're going to make our turn right here. Come on back on the far side of the signal, and if we're dark at both ends, we're going to say, from Casey and I, thank you for being with us. New Hope, Tennessee is just ahead, about a mile. The Tennessee Valley Authority facility is just a mile up as well. And here we go. We're now traveling east. We're going to see if our signal board has another following him, and if not, we are going to conclude our exciting day with all the switching action, the brick, NS34, the equipment chain, and sadly, we are all dark at the 130.2, and this was something I found interesting. We're going to pull in here before we conclude. I forget, we walked up here. There's a cemetery. It's called Clouse. Clouse Cemetery. Casey and I, we filmed here probably a year ago. So we parked, Casey was here, I was over on the other side. We were filming different directions, multi-cameras, what have you. And when we got done, we went up, and you go up about a block and then turn into the trees, and there's this historic old cemetery up there. And so peaceful and serene, but it's really, really moving. And there's headstones that are back before 1900. So make this part of your travels. Have a great day. From Casey and I, thanks for being with us here on Rail Moments. For all the people that we got to meet today that were new, that was really incredible. Hope everybody subscribes, and then that way we can all keep up. So have a great day, and thank you for making travels with me today. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, have your coffee ready, hopefully about 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Coffee at Coffee's Cliff with Rail Moments. And with that, we say, have a great day.